Do you know where your last $1,000 went? Seriously, not your rent, not your electricity bill, not your groceries. I'm talking about the $1,000 that simply disappeared. If I asked you to explain where every single dollar went, could you do it? Most people can't, and that's exactly why so many people stay broke without ever realizing why. Meet Atlas, an ordinary ape with an ordinary job. Every month, payday felt like a fresh start. The moment his salary arrived, he felt like he was finally getting ahead. He would open his banking app, see a healthy balance, smile, and make himself the same promise. This month will be different. This month, I'll finally save money. But somehow, every month ended the same way. It never started with a big purchase. Atlas wasn't buying luxury cars or expensive watches. On Monday, it was just a coffee because he was running late. Tuesday, he ordered food because he was too tired to cook. Wednesday, he found something online that was 50% off and convinced himself he was actually saving money. Thursday, a few subscriptions renewed automatically. Friday, his friends invited him out. Saturday, he bought something online after scrolling through social media late at night. None of these decisions felt expensive. In fact, they all felt completely reasonable. Then, one Sunday evening, Atlas opened his banking app. He stared at the screen in complete silence. More than half of his paycheck was already gone. He wasn't angry. He wasn't confused. He was just wondering the same question he'd asked himself every month. Where did all my money go? The next morning, while walking through the park on his way to work, Atlas noticed an old ape sitting quietly on a bench feeding birds. The old ape looked at him, smiled, and asked, "You look worried. What's on your mind?" Atlas laughed and replied, "I don't understand it. I work hard. I don't waste money on expensive things. But every month, I end up broke." The old ape nodded, almost as if he'd heard the same story 1,000 times before. Then he asked one simple question. "Do you know where your last $1,000 went?" Atlas opened his mouth to answer, but nothing came out. He pulled out his phone and opened his banking app. Coffee, $6, food delivery, $18, a streaming subscription, $11, taxi rides, $15, online shopping, $27, another coffee, another meal, another subscription, another impulse purchase. As he kept scrolling, something strange happened. None of the purchases looked expensive, but together, they told a completely different story. The old ape smiled and said, "People rarely become broke because of one big decision. They become broke because of hundreds of tiny decisions they stop paying attention to." That sentence stayed with Atlas for days. He realized the problem wasn't that he earned too little. The problem was that he never questioned where his money was quietly disappearing. Every purchase had a reason. Every expense felt justified. But together, those little habits were stealing the future he kept dreaming about. The following month, Atlas didn't promise himself he would never buy coffee again. He didn't cancel every subscription overnight. He didn't suddenly become an investing expert. Instead, he made one small change. Before buying anything that wasn't essential, he asked himself one simple question. Will I still be happy I bought this next month? Sometimes the answer was yes. Most of the time, it wasn't. Slowly, things began to change. Coffee became homemade more often. Food delivery became something he enjoyed occasionally instead of automatically. Impulse purchases turned into a 24-hour waiting rule. Subscriptions that added no real value quietly disappeared. For the first time in years, Atlas reached the end of the month with money still sitting in his account. The amount wasn't life-changing, but the habit was. Months later, Atlas looked at his bank balance and smiled. Not because he had become rich overnight, but because he finally understood something most people never do. Wealth isn't built by one brilliant investment or one lucky opportunity. It's built by noticing the small financial decisions that most people ignore every single day. So let me ask you the same question the old ape asked Atlas. Do you know where your last $1,000 went?